Hello and a very warm welcome to the very first Raiffeisen Tech Kosovo podcast. It is my pleasure to host this podcast today. I am Agon Kabashi, People, Communications and Organization Lead at Raiffeisen Tech Kosovo. Raiffeisen Tech Kosovo is part of the Raiffeisen Group, whereby we offer IT services to the whole Raiffeisen Bank International Group, including its subsidiaries. This will be the first of many sessions to come in the future, and we'll be hosting this session in English as it is our main language of communication. Today, we will be talking about none other than the AI topic, the most famous topic, the topic that everybody is talking about. And we will be talking about what AI means to us here in Kosovo, what it means for the tech industry, what the tech industry is doing to prepare its employees for AI in the future, and also what the academia is doing to prepare its students for the future. And with that in mind, I have two distinguished guests that we will discuss and have this conversation with. Dr. Kadri Sylejmani, professor at the Faculty of Electrical and Computer Engineering, and the newly elected director of the Center of AI at the University of Prishtina, and my fellow colleague and data engineering manager, Mr. Lorik Berisha. Welcome. Before we begin and go into maybe some of the technical aspects, I want to sort of get an insight into your personal views about AI. What does AI mean to you, Lorik, and to you, Professor? Is it just a tool, or is it a shift in the human history? How do you see it?
First of all, thank you, Agon, for the brief introduction. I am humbled to be part of this podcast, and speaking of disruption such as AI in the most recent days, but not only. When we speak about AI, it's not that it has happened with a lightning strike within last 2 years, 1 year, when the LLMs came out and it became so popular. AI has been around us since 1930s, when Turing did the computer intelligence test. But nevertheless, it has been ever since developing and raising eyebrows often. With the most recent pop out of LLMs, I have to say that it's a shift in human history. It has been for the last 20 years, but now that it has managed to automate a lot of things, as mentioned, people have started to raise eyebrows. And to my personal view, it is a disruption in technology. It is a disruption in the industry as a whole, and we have to embrace it. We are doing our best to embrace it, and I think that those who will embrace it as soon as possible will have the win of the future.
Agon, thank you again for inviting us, and it is an honor for me and for our university to be part of this podcast. So I see AI as one of the other new technologies coming, technology for life. So I see AI not as a tool, but as a technology with a lot of potential. And yes, potential for, I would say, for a revolution, not only for transformation. And as Lorik said, AI has been around since the last century, but recently it has had this hype, and now we are every domain is using it. And I see AI not only with potential for using it in, let's say, in a vertical domain, let's say in the field of technology, as people working in technology and developing technology and doing research in, but I see this is a technology with horizontal use, so it will be used, and it's being used in each domain, every domain. And in my opinion, this is a technology that it will do a revolution, just like internet did in the last 1990s. So we cannot imagine now a world without internet. And so AI, has had its, improvement, the latest improvements in 2022, and that's when it started to have this, AI big hype. And it will continue to do so, and maybe in 5 years or 10 years time, we will not imagine a world without AI.
I absolutely agree. I think that the future of the world has very much AI integrated with it. It's not something that's going to go away. It's not a fad. It's not, there's a lot of talk about, AI, the bubble bursting and so on, but I think it's very much here to stay, and it's very much here in use also in Kosovo, and we see it, and of course we would like to see it more in use. My other question also is on a personal level, and what I want to hear from you is, what was that, aha moment, that first time when you saw AI did, something genuinely amazing or transformative, that you really saw potential in what it can do?
I will take this one first, Professor. So I remember, as I mentioned in my previous speech, AI has been around us, even in 2010, even in 2000s, and it has been heavily implemented. Us at University of Prishtina, when I was doing my bachelor's and also the thesis, which the dear professor was part of the evaluation committee, I remember when I was implementing the first time the machine learning algorithms. Those are different from, as we know, the LLMs and what the workflows which are being used today. Back then, I had this aha moment when I was doing a prediction on loans defaulting, and the algorithm which I trained with some training data managed to output and predict whether a client would default or not based on probability of the algorithm. And that was my first eureka moment when I was really surprised seeing the output predicted by a machine and maybe having a decision or guiding to me a decision to be taken in the near future. So that was the first spark of light. And secondly, the first time I heard about LLMs, especially everyone had his or her first touch with AI with ChatGPT. And the first prompt I did, and then the personalized answer I got, was that aha moment and the burst in thinkings of what I can do with this in the upcoming future, seeing that it can also code and provide code structures. That was a spark of light to my knowledge, and I was surprised what this can be built. Of course, I had my doubts, and I still have my doubts, but those doubts are being shoved away. And I see that every day we will embrace it. It is here to stay, and it keeps amazing me.
And from the university, so here at the university we do teaching. So we do education and we also do research. So we usually, for doing research, we have to apply for projects. So we write project proposals. And mainly we apply for we write project proposals for this EU funding schemas. And in 2022, in December, I was writing a project proposal for Erasmus Plus. And I heard from a colleague of mine, Professor Berisha, okay, look at this tool. There's a very good tool that helps you define, write text. And I said, okay, let me have a look. So I had already written my project proposal because I had to submit it. Then when I saw this tool, that was kind of, let's say, oh, this is amazing. So what I did at that time is, so I took, let's say, each paragraph of my project proposal that I wrote, I put into the ChatGPT and corrected the text. And I made a submission, and we applied. Unfortunately, we did not get the funding, but we got very good grades. And I believe that at that time, part of and let's say so there were 5 grades, so we got 12.5 out of 15 points. So I think maybe part of the success was also using ChatGPT, because earlier I used because we are not a native English speakers. So whenever we wrote, let's say, papers or project proposals, we always maybe had some mistakes within the text. And now using these tools, now it's much easier to write text. And at that time, I think part of the results was also was this that we used ChatGPT, and that was my, let's say, aha moment, especially in the field of, let's say, in the field of LLMs, because of course as professors we also develop some algorithms, and so we already worked in past, but I would say yes, December 2022 for me was the aha moment.
For me, it still blows my mind when I compare back to how much I was using it last year, which was not as often as it is now, which is pretty much on a daily basis. And I mean at work, I mean at home. My kids use it, and even my parents, which are quite at an older age, they're using it. Sometimes they mispronounce it, but that's okay. But yeah, like we said, I mean, AI is everywhere, and it's just amazing how much, from year to year it keeps on advancing. Now, Lorik, I want to go back to Raiffeisen Tech and to one of the core values that we have, which is the learning value. There's a lot of focus on learning, and of course, AI this year is quite the main focus. Why should an engineer at Raiffeisen Tech care about AI now more than they did, say, a year ago, 2 years ago?
Agon, previously, talking with our colleagues also in Raiffeisen Tech, previously when business wanted to ship a product or come up with a new feature in our products, which we have in Raiffeisen Tech and on Raiffeisen Group as a whole, where we do services for them as staff augmentation, the bottleneck was developing phase. So developers and also coders, or so to say engineers, had the bottleneck of developing, and code reviews and developing was the bottleneck of the whole structure to deliver and ship a product. Now the bottleneck has shifted. Now the capacity to build code and the capacity to build features and the capacity to ship products has become much faster and much more, let's say, friendly utilized from AI. And I think that those builders and those developers and those engineers who will embrace AI and utilize AI to ease their tasks and ship faster products, which ultimately that's where it leads, I think that that's why we should keep learning, keep exploring, and keep embracing AI. It's not that we are opening a Pandora's box, it's rather embracing it and keep it and maintain it as part of our daily routines and engineers' scope. I think that with the recent developments in AI and the capabilities it offers, an engineer in Raiffeisen Tech has to embrace it or become obsolete. Not that I'm putting out or shaping some kind of, let's say, job panic or anything. I'm just shaping that it is the new internet era, as Professor mentioned. It is one of the newest things that has been in the industry. And if you don't embrace it, you will be left behind. And you need to do your work with AI so that you can speed up faster shipment, faster building, time to product, much less. So that's the reason why we should learn and keep exploring AI.
On the other hand, Professor, I mentioned that you have been recently elected as the director of this new Center of AI at the University of Prishtina. Can you tell us a little bit about what the center is, what the vision of the center is, and how will academia and students benefit from it?
Yeah, Agon. So at the University of Prishtina, besides faculties, academic units that we have, which provide study programs, so we have 14 academic units, and let's say Faculty of Electrical and Computer Engineering and Faculty of Mathematical and Natural Sciences. These are the faculties that provide study programs related to artificial intelligence. So university also has some centers which tries to group the people with common interests. So for example, I could mention that we have Center for Teaching Excellence, we have the Center for Sustainable Energy, we have the Center for Advanced Studies, and so recently in March, University of Prishtina also established the Center for Artificial Intelligence, taking into account all these latest developments in the field of AI. And maybe just as a bridge, as a vision, I would mention that it has the center has this mission of being a bridge for education, for research, for innovation, and for society. So the aim of the AI Center is to tackle this quadruple helix. So bring together academia, industry, government, and society. And with this, our aim is to try and use AI and solve problems that are relevant for society in close cooperation with industry, but also with the help of government. And our aim is to have students, let's say, have the approach of student-centered, let's say, development and research and development. So our idea is for the center to prepare project proposals and try to utilize as much as possible the funding provided by our aim is initially, and let's say the primary aim is this Horizon Europe projects, but also Digital Europe, where government could be helpful because in those projects 50% of funding is required, and also tackling these Erasmus Plus funding opportunities with the aim of developing projects where us as professors, students, and industry and government work together for tackling society problems.
I think overall the industry has cooperated with the university in many levels, and as it turns out, Raiffeisen Tech is part of this council of the Center of the AI, and we are very honored that we've been selected as that. However, I do want to ask, and this can be for both of you, how do we make sure that the brilliance happening at the University of Prishtina finds its way into the tech industry and vice versa? Meaning, how do we elevate this partnership maybe into the next level? Like I said, it's not that the partnership doesn't exist. There's a partnership in place. We discuss, we meet up with the professors, we have students that come in. But perhaps now with AI, that partnership needs to be elevated.
So Agon, to contemplate what you were mentioning is that Raiffeisen Tech, Raiffeisen Bank, and also the whole Raiffeisen Group, particularly in Kosovo presence market, we have had a close collaboration with the University of Prishtina and other universities of Kosovo as well. I think that it is taken care of by professors very, very, very picky and looked in details to provide the best and the most prepared students that can come into the industry that we have been seeing even prior to the LLM disruption. And I think that the professors and the university is doing an amazing job to provide us with resources and to provide us with human capabilities who can leverage ultimately AI to provide deliverables within our scope in industry. I don't think, to my knowledge, I don't think that it can be done something extra what they are doing until now. So that's kudos to you, Professor, and to the whole team what you have been doing with students and what kind of caliber of students is being provided towards the industry. So that's my take and my opinion on this matter.
So at our university, for the field of artificial intelligence, we do have two, let's say, dedicated study programs. At the Faculty of Electrical and Computer Engineering, we have the Computer and Software Engineering study program, which is both at the bachelor and master level. And at the Faculty of Mathematical and Natural Sciences, we have the study program Computer Science. So we cover very good, I think, I would say, three subfields, very specialized subfields: computer engineering, software engineering, and computer science. And now we are working in updating our curricula, both at the Faculty of Electrical and Computer Engineering and the Faculty of Mathematical and Natural Sciences. So at the Computer and Software Engineering study program, we accept the bachelor level 250 students, and in computer science we accept 60 students right now. But I heard good news that that will be doubled, so it will be 120. And so I think collaboration is the key. And as Lorik mentioned, and you also, Agon, mentioned, we already collaborate a lot, and especially with Raiffeisen Bank, Raiffeisen Tech. And I would mention here three elements that I think are important. From the university perspective and at our departments, we take care a lot of being close to industry. And one approach that we have used, let's say in the last 5 years, because the developments are so the field is very dynamic. So in order to stay in trend and to stay coherent with market needs, what we do is we always engage university assistants, teaching assistants from industry. For example, at the program of Computer and Software Engineering, we have more than 10 students, not students, but teaching assistants, who are engaged in lab work at our different courses, both at bachelor level and at master level. And all these teaching assistants, they work for industry. Some of them for internal companies here in Kosovo, but many others work also for international companies. So having them in our classroom, I think this is a very good, a very big advantage for us, because it helps us stay coherent with the market needs, and so they know the latest technologies and they apply those technologies with our students. The second is that we try to write project proposals. So we also were successful. So we were able to get some funding. For example, in the last 3 years, we had 2 projects that were funded by GIZ. One was related to smart parking, and the research part was all done by our students. Bachelor students, but mainly master students. And also, since we also have the PhD program, also PhD students. And then we had another project that was about synchronizing traffic lights so that the traffic flow in the city of Prishtina is better. So there is less emission of carbon dioxide, and so we had less pollution. And we've also applied for a lot of, not a lot, but many projects for this Horizon Europe schema. Some were not successful, but for some others we are expecting the results. So that hopefully we'll get maybe funding. And then we've applied for project proposals with industry. So we have partners. So University of Prishtina is, let's say, the coordinator of the project proposal, but we have partners from industry, 2 local private companies here, but we have international universities. And so we believe collaborating with international universities to get the excellence, and collaborating with the industry so that our students can work in real-life projects. This is the way ahead. What we ask from companies is that we hear that for our students now it's a bit harder to get the internship opportunity. So I think this internship part could also be, a very good point of cooperation between academia and industry, because in our study programs we have this module as a mandatory component. So our students cannot finish their studies without having this opportunity to do the internship. So we hope that it will not be maybe a huge matter, but with AI, we hear that these junior roles are maybe now less important, but we need our students to get the opportunity to do the internships. So, and I think this could be maybe a point that we could further elaborate and discuss.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, as Raiffeisen Tech, we firmly believe also in this partnership, and that's why we stay very active. And one of the things that we have done also together with Raiffeisen Bank is we have this RISE program, the Raiffeisen Internship and Scholarship for engineers, and it's a program whereby it's open to all students who are in their last year, and there's some criteria. For example, they have to have their grade point average has to be 8.0 or higher. They have to be in the field of computer science or technology. And it is open to all students from all universities, and it is one of our most successful programs that we have. And it is a direct pipeline for the students from academia to step inside the world of Raiffeisen. This year, we have already concluded the session, and we have already have RISE students who have been accepted. They go through a very rigorous process of testing, interviewing, and then they choose from working within the bank or also working for Raiffeisen Tech. So this is something that we've done for, this is our 4th year now, and we will continue to do so. And it is something that we want to ensure that we are in line and in cooperation with the academia. So it's good that you brought that up, because I also wanted to mention that. So now you mentioned the aspect of junior level positions, and it's true that we have seen less and less demand for junior positions. Now, I recently saw a post by the CEO of Anthropic that said that AI could wipe out 50% of all entry white-collar roles within the next 5 years. Will AI really replace the junior developer, or will it just change their way of work or what their day-to-day work looks like? What are your views on that?
This is a tough question to answer, not because it's hard to say. It's rather that the abrupt answer would be, I don't know. What's happening, and what's happening in the market and in the industry is that it's changing so fast, and each and every day we see new capabilities of AI. I would encircle my answer back to what Professor said, and I still believe, and I'm one of the most, let's say, a moxie of the idea of having internships and building up resources, because in Raiffeisen Tech, looking historically, the best resources and the most capabilities came from people, not that I don't want to point out those who we took with experience, but those who we build up from universities are one of our best resources that we have, talking about human resources. So I would stick to this idea of building people. If I'm asked, I would stick to the idea of building people, but now the skill set of such people should be very different to what has been 3 to 4 years ago. For example, when I applied for an internship, that was back 9 years ago, the sufficient criteria was know some bits of SQL, know how to sell it, and maybe you get the job. Nowadays, this paradigm has shifted a lot. You just cannot go with SQL, because the SQL, for example, in the data engineering world or a programming language, this bottleneck has been removed by AI. So the students and the junior developers should have the capabilities or the sense of utilizing AI and buying the upper hand in the market, so that they can come up with a CV, not only a CV, but with a profile that is different from the others. And how it can be different? It can be different with soft skills. I think that people who know how to sell, not only how to sell, but utilize AI for the technical depth, and also utilize their soft skills to present, to push a product forward, those will be the juniors of the future. To my knowledge and to my experience and to what I can maybe predict, I may be wrong, is that the demand for juniors will not at least go down. I think that it will stagnate in this tempo. It will not go up, but it will stay in this curve. I hope I am correct, and I'm correct. In Raiffeisen Tech, at least, Professor is already saying that companies are not taking a lot of internship, and that's present in the market today. But rest assured, I think that it will come up to human resources once again, that we will need resources, we will need human touch. And that's because the creativity and the builder idea should be there and has to be there in order to push the business forward. It's not that a machine or maybe an algorithm can replace a human being, or it can replace the creativity of a human being.
And so I'm coming back to us writing project proposals. And when we write the project proposals, we have to study what's the state of the art, so that we can bring some context. And so last year, I read a post from World Economic Forum, which says that due to the AI, there will be 150 million new job places, but 90 million of them will be vanished. So exist a lot of existing work will be vanished. But if we look at the netto, we will have a profit. So it will be more working places. But we have to adapt to the revolution. So it's a revolution. We have to adapt to that, and we have to cope with that. Maybe talking from the university perspective, what we did, and we are trying to, so that we can help our students, be as prepared as possible for the job market. So they cannot be immediately seniors, but maybe this junior phase could be maybe shorter. But so we are now providing let's say a module, a component which we call bootcamp, where we want our students to engage into more real-life projects. So the idea of having this module is inviting companies, and we will be very glad to invite Raiffeisen Tech to be part of one of our, let's say, editions of these bootcamps, where we can bring our students, and you can bring your problems and try to solve them. And in this way, they gain some experience, but on the other way, also the companies have the opportunity to know, to meet the talent directly. On the other hand, we also have increased the weight of this module, that it is mandatory. It is mandatory. It's very good that it is mandatory, but it becomes maybe it may become, hopefully not, an obstacle for them to finish their studies. So earlier it was 150 hours. Now it's 250 hours. So it is equivalent to, as we say, 10 ECTS credits. So these are the two elements that we have, in our opinion, empowered, so that we can help our students, have this intention, have this phase of, getting the experience as short as possible. In my opinion, this is my personal opinion, is that AI is very much present in every process of every company, and especially in our domain. But I think it's very important that we use AI responsibly. So I think there will be more room for interns in the initial phase, for them to have them and validate the results. So the results could be generated, and you could use the AI in the process and have some results, but then evaluate those results by the help of humans. And in this, I think in this area, maybe interns could be integrated, and so in this way they could have the opportunity to gain the experience.
So my next question then is, how do we stay innovative then without losing this human in the loop? How to say this human touch? There could come a time that even those evaluators might not be needed anymore, Professor. So is there a way that we can stay innovative but still maybe keep the human aspect in the loop?
I think that both the human aspect and the machinery or the algorithm should stay hand in hand. They should continue together. A machine without human does not make sense. Nowadays, a human without the machine neither does make sense. So they should stay hand in hand together. everyone who will utilize it and boost creativity through AI will be the winners of the future, as mentioned in the first question of the podcast. So the first topic. So if one or the other does not go hand in hand, to my prediction or to my reasoning, will not succeed in the near future. So why am I saying that? Is that also with Valium prior to this podcast, we discussed there is no such thing as fully automated agentic AI. Okay, I'm laying down the facts. You need a pilot. You need a steerer. So without the steerer, I think that it will not make sense in the near future.
So one of the fields of AI is this decision making. So as professionals, we always try to develop algorithms so that the decision making process is to some extent is automated. But I totally agree with what Lorik said, that we can use the tools to help us in decision making so that we can let's say, have a better decision making, a more informed decision making. But at the end, the final decision making, let's say, process should be done by humans. So humans will be there. But your question is, how do we make sure that there's still innovation? Because AI is everywhere. I think, yeah, we have to use also the AI tools for the innovation process. So rapid prototyping, because earlier you were not able, let's say you needed a lot of, let's say, maybe human capacity, but also computing capacity in doing prototypes. Now at least you can much quicker make a MVP product, and that so that you can maybe try out, let's say, new ideas quicker. We also use AI for the brainstorming phase, so that sometimes as humans, at some point of maybe we may feel tired, so we may miss some, let's say, some important elements. So if we use AI, that will be helpful. So we have to use in the process of innovation also the AI tools, and innovation never ends. So. But one important element that we also mentioned earlier is make sure that we use the AI tools in a responsible way, so that and having this responsible element.
That's what I had in mind the whole time. You know,
Yeah.
maybe we need to have these, logos that say, use AI responsibly. Like they have those mottos for drink responsibly. So maybe we will start to see that. In the aspect of Kosovo as a country, we've always been sort of quick to adapt to technological changes. Do you see any small country advantage in AI? I mean, is there a way that we can ever gain an advantage as a country?
Yeah, I think with that we already have the advantage of implementing IT services, not only AI. I would engulf AI as IT industry. And those facts are known and many times repeated all over in podcasts, in events, and also in speeches from different contributors to the industry. I would mention maybe two or three main advantages that Kosovo has. The young demographics. So we are known to have a young population and tech savvy. So that's a fighting let's say, a sword that we have in the market and also compared to the region. That's the first one. The second would be linguistics. So we are very savvy in English and not only in other languages as well. So what the big four in US, or not only big four, but also the market all around us. And besides that, I would say the willingness to learn. So what I've seen in our youngsters and in our population is that we are eager to explore and eager to learn. And that's not a vague statement, rather than what I've seen and from these 9 years in the industry. So we have these advantages. Those are well known. I will cite them again. And I think that we already have the advantages and we are utilizing them in terms of capabilities in the industry. What needs to be utilized in the near future is that universities are producing resources, but I think that doubling those capacities or tripling them in terms of capabilities, so that, let's say, University of Pristina produces yearly 100 engineers who come out with a bachelor thesis, or they can say that they are builders, increase those capabilities. I know that this is hard and this is a long way to go, but I think that this has to be elevated to an extent that the market is fed with a lot of engineers. Now that, what about the juniors that they need to dive in somewhere? That's where we come up back to the previous mentioning that the skill set should change. Now that it's not sufficient only having technical background, why I'm saying that the skill set should change, because you need to come up with soft skills as well, and builder and capabilities, so that you can push something forward and elevate your career forward. So yeah, that's my take on this.
Yeah, Agon, before talking about local advantage, I just wanted to mention that in terms of responsible use, because we discussed about responsible use, I think it's very important that in this element of ethics is touched and is targeted by the universities. For example, at our university, we have a course which is mandatory, and this is based on recommendations from external evaluators, which we call legal and ethical and social issues in ICT. And within that course, we use a book within the curriculum, which is authored by Sarah Bays, and its title is A Gift of Fire. So we can. She wrote this book before AI revolution, but she called ICT as a gift, but with a lot of potential misuses and disadvantages. And maybe we could say the same also for the AI. So we need to have this ethics element when we use AI. So for within our university, we are trying to have a course which we will call AI literacy, where we want to train our staff so that, let's say horizontally in each academic unit, so that we can use AI ethically. And also, I think from the government perspective, we know there are regulations at the EU level, but I think new regulations at the national level would be needed. In terms of local advantage, I think we have a lot of advantage. We are a small country. From my opinion, we should take care a lot with math knowledge. And in my opinion, this should come not at the university level, but from previous, let's say, mainly at the secondary school or high school, and see these math courses and try to have them updated so that when we have students, they are good in math, because we know the AI is very much related to mathematics. Sorry for the other languages, but I would, since we are located in Europe, and there is a lot of potential in German market. I would say that German, Switzerland, Austria market, I would say that besides English, our students should also have a German language as part of their portfolio, because I think it will be very helpful for further opportunities. And I think government should be more involved. We know that the government is a lot involved, let's say, in different, maybe let's say in agriculture. But I think government should also be much more involved in the, let's say, in domain of ICT or computing with strategic investments. And I totally agree with Lorik that we need more students, but not just in numbers, but in quality. So we need, in my opinion, we need more specialized study programs, which are very much related to. We are working on that, but with investment from government, I think would be much in a much better position to do that. And this is my personal opinion, is that we all know that we have a great diaspora, and who are very skilled, and they've done their studies in very good universities around Europe and around the world. And I think, and I see them as a gravity. Just as Earth pulls us towards its center, and I think our diaspora, they always look at Kosovo. And in my opinion, we are not utilizing a lot that. But this is one of the important elements that we will try to do in the AI Center of the University of Prishtina. So our diaspora should be more involved in our development.
I mean, I think it's a shame that we have limited time, because I think, I'm already coming up with all kinds of questions that I could ask you to keep it going, but we can maybe leave that for another session. And we're coming up towards the end, and I have this quick fire round of questions for you. Just quick answers. So, what is that one AI tool that you can't live without?
At this stage, where I'm managing teams, I would say Notebook LM. Presentations are made easier.
So yeah, one of these tools, general tools, so I'm using them in daily basis, any of them. I mean, I'm not mentioning names, but one of these tools where you can, use it in daily basis, and writing, correcting text, and in doing a quick research. Anyone, ChatGPT, Cloud, Gemini, any of them. I think one of them is in the process of work in every day.
Okay, and we already talked about this, but what is that one skill that every student in Kosovo needs to learn by 2027?
We recently made a survey with companies, and I would totally agree with that, critical thinking. So there's a lot of information being generated now by AI tools, so we need to have this critical thinking part developed so that we can analyze the results being generated in a critical way, so that we make sure that the results are accurate.
AI needs data. To feed data, you need data engineers. So I think that as an ambassador of this field as well, I would enforce data engineering in the scope of skills so that we are prepared for 2027.
And my last question, maybe I can also answer this, but will AI ever create a podcast like this?
I don't think so. We could have prepared some robots who talk with each other and replies back and forth, but you invited me and Professor for our values. So we have values. Human nature has values. So that's because of our values we are here, and I don't think that machines will ever have human values. Whatever the extent they will go, they cannot replace our values.
The AI will always be helpful, and maybe more helpful every day, but in the process. But for having, let's say, this form of conversation, and with all of the, elements that we bring, and maybe also the flows that we bring in, it will not be, in my opinion, possible totally to be done, let's say, in an automated manner with one click generated by AI.
And I was hoping for answers like this, and this was the reason why I really wanted to put this question there, and also brings us back to the other question that we were talking about, the human in the loop, that I think it's also important to always keep the human in the loop. I'm all for technology advancing and AI, but, always to keep in mind the human factor as well. Well, as we're coming towards the end, I will give you each, a few words for closing, if you may.
Of course. To recap, and then to put the cherry on top, we should embrace AI, not be afraid of it, see the opportunities which will emerge in the near future. Professor mentioned it several times. The job market will find its way forward. New positions, not only positions, but also opportunities will emerge. AI is exploiting and is shoving off the dust from some of the skill sets which were not think in the past. As usual, human nature and the markets will adapt and will find its way forward. I'm very optimistic and not pessimistic in the topic of AI. I see it as the bottleneck driver remover from the development phase, and I think that it will pose a lot of new opportunities in the near future for the whole Kosovo industry market, Raiffeisen as a group, and not only, but in the broader spectrum of the industry.
Yeah, I also would say that, use AI in every process that is possible. And maybe us as professionals use AI and test its limits. When we use AI, use it in a responsible way. So make sure that the final results that we hand over to whatever, let's say, institution, make sure that they are correct. And so this is always by having the human in the loop. And work together, collaborate. So I mentioned academia, industry, government, and society, so that we can have joint projects, research and development projects. And so within those projects, we can build capacities of our students and be able to develop study programs which are in accordance with the market needs, especially to AI-related field, but also work with cooperate internationally. And here I'm mentioning again that it will be much easier for us to cooperate with our experts and our, let's say, community from diaspora.
I want to really thank you for all your valuable insights, and I do really hope that people will find a lot of this information that you provided useful. As I mentioned, this will be the first of many series to come, so I thank you for being the first, the pioneers, and I guess we'll see you in the next sessions. Thank you.